As I suspected, 32 flavors.
Try the sauce. I'm soaked in it.
Oh, I could lick you all day long.
No, I don't hate Balboa, but I pity the fool, and I will destroy any man who tries to take what I got.
What? How's it going, everyone? Holy crap, we got some stuff to talk about. So obviously, this is not Toxic Tuesday tonight. Terror on the Prairie just came out, a few hours ago on Daily Wire. So it's crazy that happened. For those who somehow missed the memo, like Dart Scipio, no worries. All good, brother. Toxic Tuesday will be next week, Rocky 4. So in case some of you missed that, all good. I know we all have lives, but we're talking Terror on the Prairie tonight. We won't go too crazy deep into it, but we're going to talk about it. It's going to be fun. Got a few awesome friends coming on here to join me to talk about it as well. And before I do, I want to acknowledge a few faces. Chris Persia, Dart Scipio, Brian Yoder, Keely Chow, Stephen Ransom, Dr. Dragon, TZ Burton, Release the McCracken, the lovely Sherry. How are you all doing? Welcome, and thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it, even on a nice late Tuesday night that is not full of toxicity, but full of a terror on the prairie. So let's bring in our panel here. And for the first time on the channel, we're going to welcome the exquisite Magitech Mags. Hello? No? Bueller? She'll come alive. Maybe she lost connection. Oh, well.
I'm back. I'm sorry. I'm a blonde, so what can I say?
Hey, you owned it.
Yes.
I respect that. I have my moments every day, so I'm not any better. So it's all good.
At least I didn't do it to Amber Turd and shat the bed. So
True.
And let me tell you, y'all, this is a movie that didn't shat the bed. So
no. Well, hey, I just want to say quickly, thank you for joining me and coming on here to talk about this. It's about time I got you on here for some, so I think it was a very fitting occasion for the evening. So let's roll, all right?
Woohoo! I'm ready.
Good. And now, returning to the channel, Mr. Pulp Metallicus the First.
How's it going, chat? Oh man, it's great to be back here. And man, what a fucking movie we haven't talked about.
Well, sir, it's good to see you again. We got a flick to talk about. And then, of course, returning to the channel as well. Well, he's basically my partner in Yelling at Parked Cars, old fame. He is my also fellow countryman in the whiskey drinking division, Mr. Brahma Bull.
Cheers, Nick Weiser.
Cheers to you,
hey,
sir.
Pulp, Mags.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Everybody. I retired from the whiskey drinking game a while ago because I don't like what it does.
And then we might have we have Mr. welcoming back to a stream. He is the Machismo. He also has Mad Dumps, not just dumps, but Mad Dumps with Scott Sporting News Podcast. Mr. Mad Mardigan. Hello, hey, hello.
It's Wednesday's Mad Dump. Oh, hold on. Wait, no, Mad's Wednesday Dump.
Mad's Wednesday Dump.
I gotta turn on my headset.
That sounds everything. Those three words sound really weird together.
Okay, sorry. I couldn't hear you. I was turning on my headset. What happened?
I said those three words in a sentence sound really interesting together.
Mad's well, hey there, Matt. It's nice to have another degenerate to talk to.
Hey.
How you doing, Mad?
Yeah, I already can feel that I'm going to be the one that's the most critical of this movie.
That's fine.
No, hey, it'll be me or you.
Go for it.
That's fine. We'll start off with obviously we'll get to a point. We won't get everything so over the top, spoiler heavy, but I don't know where the chat's mileage may vary on the movie, but we'll try to be as light as we can. So we'll start off with Brahma Bull.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was very well done for a small production movie. I thought the gore and the brutality was actually well done. I'm glad they switched scripts from what they were going to do when they couldn't pull off the stunts without using the Screen Actors Guild because of all the politics behind that. So I'm glad they went this way. Like I said, I think it was a good movie for a small production. I don't think it was a fantastic movie. I think it's the second best movie that Daily Wire has done. I would put Run, Hide, Fight at number 1. I would put this at number 2. But that's not saying anything about it is all that bad. It's just, I mean, it's for certain people. My wife hated it. She thought it was very slow and did not like it at all. She sat there staring at me the whole time like, what the hell are we doing? But it kept my attention. It's something I'll definitely watch again. The acting in it was pretty good. Nick Searcy was fantastic. Gina was pretty good.
Yeah.
So, those were my quick initial hits on it. So
okay, cool. Pulp.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Western movies as a genre, so this thing was right up my alley. And they pretty much knocked it out of the park. Like, if you wanted to make Red Dead Redemption the movie, this is how you start it.
Oh, that hurts.
Mad's playing Red Dead Redemption right now. So.
I love Westerns, and I this is the third time I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And for those words,
this shit was fucking amazing. I really liked it. Now, the violence, Mad, you and me are vets.
Yeah.
So we know better than anyone. Very realistic.
If I can hop in for 1 second on that violent, so the producer for this movie is also the producer that works with Craig S. Zoller, right? Who I love. He's the director and writer of Bone Tomahawk, of Dragged Across Concrete, Brawl, and Cell Block 99. And you get, I felt a lot of those same tones with the gore. It felt very Bone Tomahawk or one of his other movies.
But it felt very realistic.
Yes. I agree with you.
That's what I'm going for here. And from a firearms perspective, everything they did was within the limits of what that weapon could do.
Yeah.
Especially something like a black powder revolver, even if it's a cartridge black powder revolver like they had, and a double barrel 12 gauge.
Well, that kid's shoulder got messed up. I appreciated that.
Yeah,
that he got kicked.
That dude did not anticipate the recoil, and man, did he pay for it.
Yeah. Anything else? He didn't pay for it as much as that dude's arm paid for it.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, if you don't anticipate the recoil, of a 12 gauge, that's what happens. But overall, on especially the realism and the feel of the movie, 1000% I fucking loved it.
Okay, killer. Will that be all, Sir Pope of the Metallicuses of the first? For now, okay, that's fine. Well, I'm gonna let Miss Mags go. So Mags, this is your floor. Go ahead and go for it. Say whatever.
So I am one for, and I'm just going to say this out there, I'm not a big fan of hugely gruesome type movies, but I did not feel, for lack of a better term, gored out by it. I felt like it felt real, and it felt like I could be drawn into that world of the frontier. They already presented it in such a way where the landscape itself is entirely harsh. So you already have that theme of a harsh life, of harsh people, of harsh living in general, and how you are living by yourself. You are your own entity, your own country, and you have to defend it. And all the symbolism and I'm very much drawn by symbolism and imagery, as I know you guys were very aware of that. When I was chatting away, typing, but it just felt very I didn't feel like weirded out by that at all. It felt for me, it felt like I could be in Gina's or, her husband's shoes in that situation where, it's a harsh life. You're human. You make mistakes. You might fall away. You might, feel like you're going to fall out of love, but then in actuality, you come right back. And that's the second thing that I loved about this movie, is that neither of the characters brought each other down. They had their strengths and their weaknesses, but in the end, somebody else's weakness was somebody else's strength. And it felt very awesome in the end. And I don't want to go too much into spoilers, but it felt awesome in the end, where I felt satisfied with how it was brought about.
And if I could piggyback off what she just said, I thought that was one of the best things in the character development between the main cast, essentially, was that Gina and her husband really felt like a couple, where they complemented each other. And there was no... Well, there was a bit, but there's always tension in a relationship. But they figured it out. They made it work. And in the middle of a fucking standoff, she is telling her child how to make coffee because she knows her man is going to be home any minute.
Oh, no.
Well, I think it was also to stay awake.
Yeah, I thought that was what it was to stay awake. Not for like, we got to have the coffee ready for when your dad gets here. He's going to want something for it to start.
Well, but it's also the appearance you need to put on.
Exactly. And that's what parents do. They have to put on an appearance for their children to not show fear, because even though they are afraid of themselves, they know their children are far more afraid than they are. And so at that point, you have to, in a situation like that where...
try to have some normalcy.
Exactly. Some sense of normalcy. And yes, it may be slightly jarring to an audience, but that is realistic in a situation where you're under a stressful situation. So, that's what you do as a parent. And I'm not a parent, but I have good examples in my life who are. So.
And even as, Matt, I don't know what your military experience is, but I was infantry in the Marine Corps. We need to maintain the appearance, even if we're under fire, of normalcy. This is fine.
Oh, I don't think we ever planned. That wasn't something going in. It's just either you.
But that is the appearance that a leader needs to maintain.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some just fall apart for sure.
But you've also seen some this is fine.
Remember your job thing.
It for the most part, it honestly, I never noticed because everybody's just doing what they need to do. But the one time somebody did break down and lost their shit that was in a leadership, it definitely stood out from the rest.
The rest were just like, okay, this happened.
Well, while he's at it, Mad, why don't you go off on your thoughts, your initial thoughts?
It was good. It was good. We'll get to the critiques later, but
okay.
I watched the whole thing. There was a little bit there where I was like, ooh boy, this is starting to drag.
How you doing, man?
It felt like the third act
Pretty good.
dragged a little bit for me.
Okay.
But other
Hold
than
off
that,
on the constructive criticism
I know.
later.
It's hard for me to say my initial
okay
without
fine.
You know what I mean?
That's fine, yeah.
I thought it was good, but it wasn't perfect.
Okay.
There's a lot of good things to take away from it, but there are some things that
Okay,
yeah.
killer.
The girlfriend watched it. She was into it. She watched it. She didn't talk to me too much during it, so she was into it.
That's always a plus, by the way, from a woman.
That's a selling point in and of itself.
Let me tell you, we saw Jurassic World Domination, whatever it is, yesterday, and she gets chirping in my ear the whole movie just about how bad it was. So
I warned you.
And we're at the theater. You know what I mean? Oh boy, that movie was rough, man. I tell you what, I'd watched this 100 times before I watched Jurassic Park World.
All right.
Agreed.
Dahmer.
So, Brian Bart, I see your question.
Jason.
Once we get through all our initial reactions, we're gonna talk about our favorite. We're gonna maybe try to be as vague as we can with our favorite characters and or parts. So we will get there shortly. So, Sam, I know you didn't see a movie, so you're just here to hang out. So thank you for being here. How you doing, dude?
Good. Yeah, no, I'm just here because I have a massive thing for Gina Carano, so I'm just here to be her hype man.
Right.
No, I mean, there's no disrespect with that.
Yeah.
And
So,
also
all right.
because,
Is that Central Florida you're wearing?
USF, University of South Florida.
South
Go
Florida,
Bulls.
damn it. I knew it was Florida. I got points for that.
All right. So I guess I'll go into my thoughts. So I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I do actually think it'll benefit from rewatchability. I think also it felt very tense at times. And I was just like, holy crap, there's a lot of they're really going there with that. So because like as much as I've been like very outspoken on wanting to embrace alternatives, one of my biggest outspoken comments has been you can't just be an alternative, you gotta be good. And there's always been a lot of, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it stigma for lack of a better word, with how is a company like Daily Wire gonna do something like this and actually, commit to or go all the way there? Is it gonna be watered down? Because, I guess you could say of the ideology of Daily Wire, people don't affiliate that stuff with, I guess you could say conservatism or even independence or libertarianism, whatever you want to say. But this movie showed you, hey, we may be of this political ideology, but we're here to make a movie that not only A, anyone and everyone can enjoy, but B, we can do something badass as well. And that was something I like to see. So I enjoyed the flick. I thought it was a really fun, solid flick. So that's where I'm at with that. And now we will be at the part where we transition to our favorite, I guess you could say, characters and or parts. And for this one, we're going to go ladies first. So Mags, if you can, without going too far down the well, favorite characters or parts without too many details, but chat seems to be fairly okay with light spoilers, so go for it.
Oh my goodness, on the spot. Thank you. Gosh, I think my favorite character. I mean, this might seem a little strange, but I loved the son. The son was trying to understand the situation, but having to step up to be the man of the family, and that intensity, and handling that rifle. I mean, it was funny, but it was realistic, and that at some point, and here's a light spoiler, at some point Gina needs a break defending, and the son needs to step up and take over, and he did it without any questions or qualms. He knew he had to step up in his father's place at that moment. So it's back then, especially on the frontier, boys at that age, not according to today's standards, of course, boys of that age were considered men, and they had to be men. So it was good to see that in a movie today, and I'm sure there's other examples today, but I'm glad that you saw different dynamics in this movie, and one of my favorites was the son, and protecting his little sister and taking having to do things and be a part, doing things and being a part in such a way that is also scary and new for him too. So I love that part. So anyway,
but also
I know it sounds
being
weird,
an
but
active part of the movie.
No, it's all good. Makes sense.
Yes.
I asked for a favorite part, so that was your takeaway. So go. All right, Pulp. I'm assuming Mags is that it for you?
Oh no, it is. For me, I love to see positive male figures, and that was one thing that I liked seeing, and one in the fact that it was a young boy trying to step up to be the man of the family. You don't see that very often nowadays, and I'm sure there's other avenues that show that. But as far as what Hollywood likes to promote the most, it was good to see that in this kind of film. So.
Killer. Awesome. I like to hear that, Max. Thank you. Pulp.
And I love to see the son just almost instinctively protecting his sister, which that is pretty much ingrained into us from our DNA.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the only reason violence started in the first place in the home was the fact that the husband, the guy they were actually after, was away. Because I guarantee if they had announced who they were at the doorstep, he would have started shooting. And it would have just... I love the standoff, too, where you can tell... Gina Carano gives off the vibe that she doesn't want to kill anybody, but she wants to defend her home. And that is both good and bad. From a character standpoint, it's great that you don't actually want to kill anybody, but you want to create that standoff distance as, hey, stay away from my home. As would later be termed shotgun distance, which is about 25 to 50 meters, which is about how far away buckshot will spread before it basically loses velocity. And
well, did she switch the slugs at one time? Because I knew I saw that.
No, she doesn't.
All right, because like when she was reloading it next to the kid, though, it went from those green the green shells to like a solid cartridge.
Well, I mean,
and that looked like it was going to be a slug.
With modern ammunition going into something that should be... I don't know that they ever say when this movie should take place, but they have lever actions, and
it's
sometime after the
Civil War.
Yeah, it's after the Civil War.
But that's a 35-year time period, in which case firearm technology had moved on quite a bit. And they at least had a double break action shotgun. So I'm gonna say at least 1880 or so.
I would put it probably a little bit closer to 90. I don't know. I don't know if we have maybe somebody could look up a year. I was thinking 1890, 95.
I mean, I'm looking for someone to look up the revolvers because
there's also reservations too, because they mentioned a reservation as well.
Well, that took place well into the 1900s.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So
but I'm looking at just what equipment they're using, where they're at, and probably adding 5 years onto that, considering that they probably couldn't afford the best. From
based
where
off
they
the
were
clues
at.
that are kind of given, I mean, the Civil War ended in 1865. They met during the Civil War.
Okay.
And the kid was 9 years old, and really, they would have gotten busy and gotten a kid probably pretty quick. So I would say it's somewhere around 1868 to 1870. Or 1880, I mean.
All right. I mean, hey,
1878 to 1880-ish.
Like, you're probably absolutely right on that. I'm just looking at the firearms involved. And what I see doesn't really match that, but I wouldn't say you're not wrong.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see any problems with anything.
A lot of lever actions.
Right, which were there at that time.
Which would have been extremely expensive at that time.
Right, but it's not outside of the... hold on. Are you saying that she was 17 years old in this movie?
I understand. No, I think she's saying her kid was... I don't know what the 17-year thing is, so... And then Wake Down says, not gonna lie, you're not selling this movie. Keep paying attention. It's good we can't have all be an echo chamber. because some of us on here really enjoy it, and some are kind of like, okay, it's pretty good.
No, I'm gonna sell you on this movie later because the gunplay is fucking fantastic.
Okay, well,
I just don't believe.
I guess you can say that's a part that you could say is a favorite.
I just don't believe some of the guns that were involved.
Not to interject too much here, but like as someone who hasn't seen, like I part of me wants to see the movie, but back when I was subscribed to the Daily Wire, I was really kind of disappointed with Run Hide Fight. So my question is it worth resubscribing to see this movie?
I will say it's worth resubscribing for a month or two.
And it's a completely different movie.
Because let's face it, it's like buying a movie ticket. A movie ticket, at least up by me, is like $15.
Yeah.
So that's a couple of months of.
If you're looking at it on the merits of watching the movie, I'd say a few months to bounce off of what Pope said. Yeah, for a few months, you can watch it, rewatch it, let the movie sink in, get to know it, let it gel, sink in with you. But it's definitely like. Obviously there'll be other things. Obviously there's that What Is Woman documentary, which I still haven't watched, but I hear that it's excellent.
Fantastic. I have watched it, and man, it's actually really good.
What I'm trying to get at is ultimately you come for the Terror on the Prairie, and you stick around for the extra goodies. So you come for the Gina Carano flick, and you get some bonuses as the cherry on top equivalent is what I'm getting at. But anyways, I think Pope was still going over his favorite characters and or parts. So anything else, or what else you got? And then we'll go over to Matt.
I mean, one of my favorites was the accuracy of the weapons. But I will say Gina Carano absolutely sold her role. As she is a farm wife defending her home. With whatever she has available, which in her case is a double-barreled shotgun and maybe a revolver, both of which at that period may be accurate to 35, 55 yards, maybe. So I'm saying I loved that siege mentality. That went into most of the movie.
Okay. And with that, Mad Maldigan.
All right, what am I doing?
You get to talk about whatever your favorite characters and or parts.
Favorite characters. I like I honestly I don't know any of their names. Jeb is the only name I remember. And was that Cowboy Cerrone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. They all white guys with beards kind of look alike to me after a while when they're dirty. You know what I mean?
I can't help but feel attacked by that.
I mean, they all kind of look the same. I knew the tall guy. I've seen him in things. I've seen him in things before.
And Pope Metallicus looks like him, so.
Right. I swear to Christ, it wasn't until like one of the last scenes. I'm like, is that Cowboy Cerrone?
I wouldn't have known except during the premiere they had a little vignette from him because he's getting ready for his fight.
Yeah, because I looked at the ears. I'm like, maybe. I was like, a little. I was like a little bit, but anyway. But yeah, I thought that. Oh boy, he's a UFC fighter.
I will say I do want to watch this because partially not only am I a Gina fan, but I'm a fan of Nick Searcy too. So I'm very happy that he's in.
Is that the main bad guy?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he did what he did. But
he sold himself really well as the villain.
Okay, yeah. So my favorite character would be the one that almost lost his arm, because like I liked him. Like he was just a little goofy. You know what I mean? I'm like, I appreciate your goofiness in this. No one else is even trying.
You mean the trap?
Huh?
You mean the trap?
What? The trap? A thirst trap? He wasn't a thirst trap.
No, he was the guy who was supposed to get people to sympathize with him.
No, that's not the guy.
Get the family out of the house and then get them shot.
He's talking about the guy that got his arm.
No, got his arm
shot.
blown off. Yeah, he got his arm
I'm talking about that guy.
Oh no,
I think you're confusing somebody else.
Oh no, maybe
you got the wrong guy.
Yeah, maybe the guy who
the whole little speech.
I'm talking about the craven little coward who rocked up to the window. Was just like, "Hey, we never wanted to do this."
Oh, no, that's not this guy. That's a different guy. That guy wasn't shot in the arm.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that dude was the last one to make it. Anyway, yeah, I liked him the most. I thought he was. People are gonna hate this. I thought he was the best actor of the bunch. I honestly did. I really did.
No, he sold the role really well.
Gina, she did good. She did good, and I like the way that they kept it. Even she knows, like, she's not the best.
She doesn't deliver lines well. She does action great.
Yes.
As much as I hate to say it, that's kind of where she's at her.
What's crazy though is I really, really dug her.
Fisher.
Is
that his name? Fisher something Fisher, anonymous.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Yeah, he was with Kurt Metzger. I think that's what he's talking about. Go on, Matt. Sorry.
Oh no. So when she was talking to her son, it was like right before the bad guys arrived or whatever. I forgot what she was talking to him. Oh, about you're not like, it's not that simple. The Civil War, it wasn't that easily defined when she said, no, Jeb, like your dad was a Reb. You know what I mean? When they had the little talk. Dug it. I thought she did an amazing job and immediately followed that up with some horrible delivery of the lines when they came up. I'm like, oh man, there was some ADR that was actually kind of nicely done. The ADR it didn't stand out too much. I could tell, but you could see it. It was like when she's in the window, you can't see her mouth, but she's delivering lines. She had like a slight anyway, but yeah, like I said, so the favorite character, my favorite part. Man, probably the kid shooting that dude's Rittenhouse in that dude's arm. I thought that was
well, he's not wrong. That was actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was the best one. You like that though? You like that?
I love that.
Especially because that's probably the best the kid could muster at that point.
Yeah.
I love how we're just referring to shooting people as Rittenhouse thing.
No, well, specifically an arm. If you've seen the video,
he gets his bicep blown off.
Sam,
I missed you, man. I missed you. I knew I missed you.
But yeah,
it happens,
I thought that was the best part.
You see it happen.
Yeah. And I loved he kept a grudge for the rest of the movie. He wanted to beat that kid so bad.
Yes, he did.
And I kind of felt bad for him after a while. I'm like, yeah, let him get a couple licks in on the kid. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not supposed to be on his side, but don't murder the kid, but smack him around a little bit. I felt bad for him. He went through a lot with the.
God, I get the fact that we're supposed to be a little dark, but come on, man. We're at least supposed to root for the little guy. Like the actual little guy.
You guys
are about the same size.
The man of the house.
Yeah, they're about the same size.
Man, I missed you. I'm so glad to have your input on here, Ken. It feels like we never stopped.
I can slide right back in.
I'm so glad to find
like a glove.
Finally stream with you, Matt, so I can actually
do not come.
I'm gonna come. Matt, you want to cap that off with anything, or shall we transition?
Yeah.
That's a weird way.
No, we can transition. Yeah, I'm good.
Well, we're gonna transition to the Brahma Bull.
Yeah. So, favorite characters, favorite parts. To be honest, Nick Searcy was the one who had kind of the most weight as an actor. He did not have. I didn't think he had great stuff to work with. Just quoting scripture the whole movie. That was. I mean, he was my favorite character, except for that they gave him such bad dialogue. I mean, I understand what they were doing a little bit with it, but he delivered it well. He did a pretty good job, being the villain and having, he gave you a little bit of fear of what he might do next. And then towards the end, he got a little bit more out of control. So I kind of like that. Favorite part was actually what Pope was talking about when the kid, not the little boy, but the character named the kid in the movie, goes to the door and is trying to convince her to leave. And it gets a little bit heavy in spoilers here, but it's the second time that they try to entice her out, and she sees through it at the last second. But they really kind of built that one up as she might do that one. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, they use a common trope to get out of it, but I mean, that was one of my favorite scenes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Killer.
My girlfriend was so disappointed. She's like, "When are the Indians coming back?" Like, I'm like, they were just there for the knife. Too. Yeah. They were just there for the knife. Like, they're not coming back.
You're not wrong. And I was kind of wondering where they were going with that, where they showed her as a midwife to the Indians.
A midwife?
She wasn't a midwife. They were sewing up her leg.
Yeah, that wasn't a vagina she was sewing up. Yeah, that was a knee.
Well, a midwife was also kind of a surgeon.
I think they just happened to be passing by.
Because
she was scared to death of them.
Well, I don't think they knew. At the time, the midwife was also locally considered kind of a surgeon. Because they could sew you up. And not to get too far into it, but after some of the births that people go through, you might need a surgeon.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, probably, but obviously the movie wasn't the central point of that whole.
A lot more common than you'd think.
I think that they were there to deliver the knife to be used in the third act.
And then, yeah.
But they never did anything with the natives the entire time else.
Yeah, because they were just there to give her the knife so that we know that she has that knife.
I don't think they really needed to do anything too much with them. I don't think it was necessary.
It was just to acknowledge that they were there.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I mean, I think the main characters were the family of the villains, so I'm good with that.
And I liked it for the reason that they established that most of the frontiersmen knew, and this is true from the beginning colonization into the real beginning of the Indian Wars, is that they knew that the Indians were there, and most of the frontiersmen were just there too. And they would actually develop a lot more friendly relations than would happen later.
Well, they had to depend on each other. I mean, that climate, that land is very harsh. So it's a harsh living.
It took me a second.
Randy on the Prairie. Would I like the movie, Randy? I think so. I enjoyed it.
A lot of good hand action, a lot of good hand movement.
I liked it a lot.
Hand action. So, I think Brahma. I don't know if he ever got to finish his piece. Did you say everything, or shall I?
As far as favorite characters and parts, yeah, that's what I got. I mean, we can go on to whatever you would like to.
I'm gonna go on. So, favorite characters. I'm gonna have to go with number one. I'm gonna go with the Nick Searcy. I thought he was great, and I know you say you weren't a fan of his dialogue. I actually liked the dialogue, and I felt like it fit his character well. I like how he acted and carried the part. And I actually really thought Gina was mostly good too. I felt like, especially, she was not like this. Like, obviously she was formidable, but there was times where she definitely took quite a few hits and a few beatings. And I like how the stakes. I really felt like that was one of my favorite parts of the old movie. It really felt like at times like something bad is about to go down. You feel like, oh crap, like you can actually feel like the worst is about to happen. It could actually happen. So this movie definitely does, it definitely gets intense at times. So, which is nice to see. So I was definitely a big fan of the intensity per se. But seriously though, man, he was a great villain. I really enjoyed him on the screen.
Kudos to him for being just a good villain in that he built it up.
Oh yeah,
rather than just being a straight up asshole.
Oh yeah,
and the more he was losing some of his comrades, the more he was losing himself. So it's like one thing is being cut out of his life, and he goes further and further into insanity.
Well, that's the thing, is that most of the people who are part of his gang were former Confederates who were under his command.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you shoot one of his guys,
mm-hmm.
you're killing part of his family, essentially, like in terms of his mind. Not saying that's a justification for
this stood out to me as well.
Later.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys liked it. Like I think
liked it. For me it was about, because you know how like a lot of horror movies, they like to have very quiet scenes and then for like loud things to happen. I feel like this movie is trying to go for a lot of that, and I feel like the movie exceeded very well on it having that really quiet atmosphere, because it's supposed to take you into obviously a super out there place, stranded in the middle of nowhere. And it's a very quiet area, and then things happen. And when things happen, it gets loud. And I feel like that's what that movie's trying to do. So I don't feel like I can see why you could add music, but do I think it had to be there? No, I don't feel like it had to be. I can see why people want. There is obviously
I could see where you would add music to like an old school Western.
But I think it worked to the movie's advantage in terms of the stakes. I think as far as the stakes, I feel like it added to it.
I didn't notice it until the last shootout.
See, that was me too.
There's no music.
I didn't even notice it until
I guess
midway
programmed to expect it in some movies. You know what I mean? Like there's certain parts you're like, I should be hearing a music cue.
Building
then you're not.
The suspense or something.
Yeah.
And a lot of times music too helps tell the story. And for me, I didn't even notice that there wasn't any music either. So it's
not to the end.
I didn't need it necessarily to help me tell the story. If that makes sense.
I think for me, the best example of not using music was actually was in Heat, but they had music leading up to it. But if you've seen Heat, as soon as Val Kilmer, he sees that the cops are there and he starts laying down fire, all the music's cut out. And for the rest of that scene, all you hear is just like the echoes in just how loud
if you look at a lot of Sergio Leone's Westerns and stuff like that, you also hear the same thing where like you have that kind of build up and that musical undertone until everyone draws their guns, and then you just have the percussion.
Right.
And then everything goes quiet until everyone figures out who's dead and who isn't.
Yeah, Eastwood did the same thing with Unforgiven, which is one of my favorite Westerns. If you haven't...
Unforgiven's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, if chat wants a really good Western, I did a college dissertation on Unforgiven. It's such a phenomenal movie that is my gold standard for Western films.
Yes.
Have you seen Old Henry?
No, I actually think I heard about that, but I haven't seen it yet.
You have to see it. It was my favorite movie of last year. One of my favorite Westerns, probably since Bone Tomahawk.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Really good.
Okay.
It's a very small cast. There's no women, thank God. Well, there's one, but she's buried. Anyway, but so
Ryan Kittle. Okay, Ryan Kittle. I get it.
I don't watch him enough to get when people say this. Like I've hung out with Ryan a couple times. Like I don't. He's way more toxic than I think I am. I mean, the little I hung out with him.
You're just more mad than he is.
Was Old Henry the one with Sam?
With who?
You're not talking about the recent movie with Sam Elliott, right?
No. We're ruining Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Ryan Yoder for $20. Woo! Coming
nice.
For $20 says, you might want to hold this for later in the view, which is what I did, because luckily we weren't that far in, so we can go for this. Was the absence of a soundtrack good or bad? Did anyone notice the lack of music? It sounds like we all on the panel and even the chat for those who watch it, we all obviously notice. Now, on my stance, I'm gonna stick with it being good. So I'm gonna stand by that.
I will go with it.
Go ahead. Go first, and then we'll go.
I'll go with it being neutral.
Okay.
Because it kind of fit and didn't. Because in a classic movie, you're supposed to have that soundtrack building that tension. But at the same time, in a modern movie, you're just going with the sound effects, because back in the day, you didn't have the sound effects we do now.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have two characters scrambling for a gun, say,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that tension
Mm-hmm.
being built by the visual. You can't tell who has the gun. It's like watching a hockey game. You can't tell who has the puck until someone comes out with it.
See, I didn't feel any less of the tension. Maybe I guess that's just what you got out of it, but I personally didn't feel any less of a tension. So
I'm just saying that's what they may have been going for. I don't think they succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
I think the sound score is almost as important as the cinematography in what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not so sure they succeeded at the sound score. Cinematography we'll talk about.
Okay. Cool. Well then, Pulp, not you. Mad, I'll let you go.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I had a very important DM. Because with big news for all you comics dicks, I don't know what they call y'all. What do they call you? What dicks?
Dicks Division.
Yeah, big news for Thursday's. Is it this? It's not this.
We're
Thursday,
doing it on your
It's
channel
this Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday.
it's this Thursday.
Wait, hold the fuck up. How do you? I literally am reading the DM that it's going to be on my channel.
You should have watched Yelling at Parked Cars. We already announced you're doing it.
Was I on it?
No.
Then why would I watch it? Anyways,
because this is why it's part of the bit. Stupid.
This is all Toxic's fault.
Anyway, and it really is. He's like, hey, my bad. I haven't told you this yet. It's going to be on your channel. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I was doing right now.
Music, no music.
So again, I didn't even notice it until the end. So I think it's kind of neutral in that sense. Like, some people may pick up on it sooner, especially if they know that it's not there going into it. But I don't think it affected anything in a negative way for me.
Okay, Brahma.
Even when I found out,
sorry.
like, no, even when I realized that there wasn't any, it didn't like, oh, gross, turn it off, nothing like that. You know what I mean? So it didn't really affected that much for me.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. I thought you were done. So, anyways, Brahma, go ahead. Your thoughts on the music, and Brian, thank you for the 20. By the way, I do appreciate it. Thanks for your continued support, sir. Appreciate it. So, go ahead, Brahma.
I noticed it almost immediately. The first scene was dead silent as the kid's running, down the hill and everything, or not the kid, the guy that they're chasing. So, I mean, normally movies open up with some kind of score going on. Mm-hmm. I don't think it needed necessarily a soundtrack, but it could have used just some sound in there just to build some anticipation or build some suspense. I don't think it necessarily hurt it, but I think on a smaller production movie like this, it could have benefited from some of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So semi-neutral as well.
Okay, so we got positive, neutral, semi-neutral. All right, killer, dude. Max, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, again, I didn't notice it. It didn't. The no music part. I didn't realize it wasn't even there until the very end. So I really honestly didn't need it in this film for me to be able to be immersed in it either, because I felt that through, and I know we'll be talking about this more, but I felt that through their visuals of certain images as well as the landscape itself. It's harsh, it's quiet, they're isolated. It's like the absence of music kind of gave that isolation even more, and it gave me that feel. So it kind of made me immersed more into their situation. So I mean, they're not really, they don't have neighbors next door like we do now. It's just more like you might have random travelers show up at your door, so it's quiet one moment and maybe for longer periods of time, and then all of a sudden you have guests at your door who need a NISO dub. So it's just, I really didn't need it. Honestly, I think the movie felt better without it, because it gave the realism of the situation. So of course everybody's going to have their own differences on that, but that's just how
I definitely get what they were going with the isolation, desolation stuff. I mean, I get it
exactly. And the stakes themselves the stakes themselves felt very heightened in terms of the fact that they are really isolated. So I don't know. It's kind of like music can always be that other character in a film sometimes, and sometimes it can take over. And I'm kind of glad that character wasn't there. So.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Killer. Rogue Disney, to answer your question, I only need to adjust it a few times, but to be very fair, I live in an apartment complex, and I'm adjusting my volume because obviously it's at night, and a few of the surrounding rooms by me are, well, we'll just say they're much older ladies. So when the gunshots were getting loud, I was like, oh crap. Les Annia's wake up one of the grandmas, because I actually do get along with them, and the fact that they survive my volume at night and never complain about it, the least I could do is do something. But that's nothing major on my end besides adjusting for neighbors. That's about it. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way. Pulp, do you feel? Did you have this issue or no?
No, I mean, I obviously I listened to the entire thing on the headphones, which are a lot better than anything else, because the gaming setup I have under my desk, I would absolutely have the cops called on me for the gunshots and everything else. And it felt good.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded good. And it felt real. You know what I mean? And Matt, you can back me up on this. When you see some shit on like History Channel or whatever, and like you can see them reenact something and it doesn't feel real. And it just feels like, a bunch of actors going through the motions. This one felt real.
Yeah, it felt like a movie. Like,
I mean, it felt like it actually had a budget behind it, and someone was trying to make it feel like the real thing.
Yeah. Oh man, I tell you what doesn't do that, Billy the Kid, or whatever that awful movie that Scott talked me into. Scott from Sporking News Podcast, asshole.
God damn.
Oh boy, it's on Epix. Dude, the first episode,
bad.
Dude, I was in on the first episode. Like, this is the craziest thing. I like the kid that was playing young Billy way more than Billy that's older.
It's in my estimation the anti-Deadwood.
Yeah, it's so Billy. Anyway, but yeah, that compared to this is night and day for as far as how they use violence. They actually have to reload every once in a while, unlike that movie. I'm like, wait a minute, that dude already saw it six times. How is he shooting sure 7 more?
In this watch through, I wasn't actually counting, but the reloads felt really realistic.
Which one did?
Like this movie, like they felt really realistic. In that every couple of rounds, she's reloading that shotgun.
Almost
pretty easy to
every
count.
time she went through the 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing that a lot of people in Hollywood don't know is that you can reload a double-barreled shotgun with 1 round in the chamber.
Yeah.
And she never did that, which I thought was interesting, because anyone out on the frontier, like, you would know how to do that.
I mean, it's the same as reloading it if you needed 2 rounds. You just replace the 1.
No, but I mean, loading it with 1 in the chamber, like, make a big show of you reloading when you still have 1 in the chamber and you goddamn well know it. So especially with a break action, you know it.
What?
Steven here. Thank you,
Dude.
John Wick Reloads. Now thinking cinema.
But especially,
People have been reloading for a minute.
But especially with a break action shotgun, you know you can fake a reload and then slap that thing up into battery and blast off your other shell.
Right. I don't think she was that experienced. She didn't even know if it was loaded when she was trying to shoot the snake.
Yeah, I think that was part of her character.
Yeah, or she had to learn as she went a little bit.
Well,
I mean,
she
did
did
basic mechanics of a gun.
Yeah, she
but
did.
She couldn't
she
shoot worth crap.
And the thing is, she did say that she wasn't built for this either. So that she's already established.
She came from a city. She wasn't always on the frontier.
You can also see how she gets more comfortable with the pistols as she goes along, because like when she's first doing it, she is sloppy as shit with that hammer.
She barely knows what to do.
Right? Didn't even. By the way, I do appreciate she didn't even try to reload that shit. She's like, I'll pick up another one. I do appreciate that.
I enjoyed that too, man.
And honestly, at that point, if we're at the period in history I think we are, that pistol in the chest may have been a percussion lock.
Okay.
It may have been a percussion revolver. That reloading it may have taken longer than just throwing it over to the side and grabbing it.
I don't think she was like, wait, this is the percussion revolver.
So
that's gonna take too long. Let me get it. I think it was just like, this one's done, grabbing another one. I don't think it was like,
well, that's also
I have to wait and reload this one later
that's
when I have
also
time.
kind of what the people in the Civil War were doing.
No. All right. No,
that's actually absolutely what the people in the Civil War were doing. Is that you would fire your 6 shots out of your Colt 1860, which was a percussion cap, black powder revolver, and then disassemble the front of the gun because it had a 1-pin takedown, putting another fully loaded cylinder on the gun, jamming it back on, and continue to fire. That was a well-known thing in 1863.
Okay, I'm gonna try to bring it back around to our next topic. About any complaints of the movie. Where would you be at, Pulp? With any maybe some things that you feel like could have done better, or maybe just flat out didn't like?
I mean, I think she should. I mean, it's nothing I didn't like about the movie. I think that they should have done better with certain aspects. When that dude started appearing at the window and started trying to negotiate her out, she should have just shot him in the face.
Okay. Max will be bad guys.
That's not only bad guys will be bad guys. That's a standard siege tactic.
Right. Which
is try to get them to open the gate.
No, here's the thing. Do you expect her to know that, or is that something you expect yourself to know?
Yeah, bro, she was well informed of siege procedures.
I'm just asking.
No,
that's something I know, but it's something I also know is kind of common sense.
It's not.
When the guys
common sense is very.
But when the guys who have been shooting at you all of a sudden try to negotiate, and that you perceive to have an advantage over you, try to negotiate. They're either playing for time, or they know something you don't.
Right.
In which case you play them out.
I doubt she was well versed in siege.
That
tactics.
takes a 6th grade IQ.
Does it?
Maybe.
I mean, the way I looked at it was, one, she's scared of shit. She has people shooting at her house. She was not in the Civil War. She was alive. She wasn't in it. And she has kids. So she's looking for every opportunity she has to get out of there. So I actually do think she wanted to believe him. She wanted to until he messed up and said Jeb's name.
Well, see, that's where you go awry. Is that you wanted to believe it. That's what the con man wants. And that's what these people have been doing since the Civil War. Is conning people. And conning new recruits when their old ones get shot.
There's also nothing in the movie to show that she knew what he was doing.
No. There's also nothing to show that she didn't know what she was doing and wasn't a fucking idiot. and realized that what he was selling was not matching what he was doing and what his compatriots were doing.
But they did show
that is common fucking sense.
He's the one that helped put out the
feel
roof
like
on the house.
That's a subjective thing, but I guess we won't go down that well because that's a whole other conversation. But EJ's got an interesting comment here. It says Hattie, which is obviously Gina's character, a woman who already hates the situation she's in before all this happened, unprepared for something like this. She had the heroes ready to come around to surviving. Yes, I wholeheartedly spot on with that comment, EJ.
He's absolutely right.
I agree with that. Did you want anything else that you feel like could have been done better? Did you not like? Pulp?
I feel like we could have used more of the husband coming in at the last minute and had an actual shootout.
Okay.
Where they're all aimed in at the house, and then he rides up and starts shooting them in the back because they're aimed at his fucking house.
All right.
Like, I think he could have had a little more agency in the movie, but other than that, I think it was great.
Okay. Killer. Well, Mags, why don't you go talk about what you feel like maybe could have used some work or just flat out was not a fan of?
Let's see here. I'm not as well versed in the Westerns as you guys are. I mean, I just grew up with John Wayne in the house.
Not a bad thing.
As did we.
That's a good thing.
That's our education in Westerns.
Yes.
So go for it, Mags.
So I kind of, I do agree with Pope on the fact that, the husband felt like he was taken out of the movie. But at the same time, I didn't feel like him being taken out of the movie. I mean, he did go into town to do what she asked. So it's not like, and he was being a good husband by doing what she asked because he knew that she was having a rough time. So he was trying to sacrifice himself in that situation. And then, of course, he goes into town and he stays there to enjoy himself and then realizes somehow that, he shouldn't be doing these things. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a little fuzzy on the whole, oh no, they're at my house.
He saw the wanted poster.
He saw the one, yeah.
He recognized him. It was his captain in the war. I mean, he knows who he is.
Okay, now get to the next step. How does he know that they're at his house?
Well, probably because he was afraid that they might have been there.
That brings up a great point there.
Why else would they have been coming to my
Hold on. Let's let Mags continue, and then we can get into that.
Sorry, Mags.
It's okay. I mean, I maybe have to watch the movie again to look at it closely. Of course, Nick knows in the chat, I kept saying, "Oh my God," several times. I mean, I wasn't saying it out loud, but I was saying, "Oh my God, they went there."
Oh man, the chat was on fire.
So anyway, I mean, I don't really have too many criticisms. I wish they had done something about the natives in this situation because I felt like there might have been, the knife was there, but maybe they could have showed up. I mean, they could have seen the smoke signal from her house, I know it wasn't really technically a signal, quote unquote, but there was something going on that one of her neighbors was able to see that from a distance, obviously. So I felt like I was kind of seeing a awesome one. I was kind of thinking that maybe that would have made something that would have happened. So that was kind of an empty payoff a little bit. I mean, maybe the knife was the supposed payoff, but I didn't feel, maybe they could, if they came in and helped out or something, that would have been fantastic. Oh gosh, I can't think of anything other than that really comes to mind. The one thing, actually, no, I can't think of another thing. I can't think of anything right now. I'm probably going to have to rewatch it just so I can really look closely. This is, of course, immediate reactions after the fact.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
So, but, for me overall, I felt like it was I definitely enjoyed myself. I didn't feel like this was it's just not like the last couple of weeks dealing with certain corporations, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. No, I know the feeling. All right. Killer. Awesome.
I do want to say that Max brings up a good point. The fridging of men in these movies is getting out of control. My God.
I am the vag guard of the Dix division, so I am here for y'all.
I don't know what that means. It doesn't.
Amen, brother.
Vag guard. That sounds like a carpet, shield that you would put on there to not get stains.
Toxic Tuesday for fucking Top Gun Maverick, I will be right there with you saying there is too many tits in that fucking volleyball scene.
Look, hey, my video on why everyone is wrong about this new Top Gun movie has 900 views already. I'll give you our preview. Two things: one, no volleyball. Two, Rooster should have been mad at. Thank you, Nick. I don't want to spoil the video, so if you want to see it, my reasons.
Yeah, watch this video, guys.
So Mads, you can do that to him on a Thursday night.
Oh yeah, if he's invited.
Ooh.
I don't even know if I have control over that.
Well, I've actually hosted Thursday Night Throwdown on Comics' channel, using Comics' channel.
Oh,
that's power.
That's power.
He's not going to give me that. Are you kidding me?
Well, it's on your channel.
Well, now it is because he doesn't want me anywhere near his channel.
Oh yeah, that. Well,
he'll think I'll leave back doors open and stuff that I can always sneak into.
In the bushes.
You already leave back doors open in more than one way. But anyways, back doors and all.
He has a deadbolt now.
All right, Mad. Why don't you talk about
I would like somebody to explain to me the wanted poster thing, because wanted posters can be they can be spread out a large area for everyone to be on the lookout for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, my girlfriend, she was like, "Wait, why does that tell him that? Does a wanted poster say that he's at your house right now, dude? You need to hurry."
Well, I mean,
like, no, it's because he's in the
point.
area. He's in the area.
So the only thing I would say is, I mean, even she said it. We don't get a lot of people from Missouri out here. And they're in Montana from Missouri. There's not a lot of reason for him to be traveling and to be on a wanted poster. And I think I'll take my turn and then you go, Mad, because I'll address it during my turn on criticisms.
Okay. Yeah. No. Well, so I just feel like wanted posters, like those are assimilated like in a large area, maybe even every state, depending on what crimes we're talking about. His was for murder. Those are going to have a bigger spread than somebody for horse thieving or what have you, or bad language in front of a lady on Sunday.
Actually,
you know what I mean? Like that would be a local thing.
Think that, but you'd be wrong.
Okay.
I mean, have any of you played Red Dead clear across the fucking map for?
No, I'm saying
a cattle
the wanted posters will be the same size for somebody who just
I didn't
physical.
I didn't mean the physical size, like it would be a smaller one. Yeah, I mean,
and the bounties will be similar too.
For
this one might not have a dead option.
So yeah, that's my thing, Brahma.
So here's kind of what I was taking from it. Here's where I thought the writing fell down. They try to get you to connect dots that they don't ever actually connect in any way. The husband is kind of an ass during the beginning of the movie. She obviously doesn't want to be there. He obviously, as you find out, through her talk with the son, something went on between going Union to Rebel to, whatever. I mean, I think what they're trying to point out is that he was actually escaping after what that thing is that caused all of this. And I think they left, or I think they're trying to, intimate that they left because he was trying to escape his old captain and disappear. So I think they're trying to connect those dots, but they never really do it. And I thought that was one of the problems with the movie, because the husband is not necessary to any of this except to show up at the end and to be the plot device that is the reason people are after him. The other thing I was going to say that was a criticism was the neighbor was a freaking idiot. I mean, who sees the house on fire, sees 4 guys with guns sitting out of it and goes, "Are the kids and the wife still inside?" I mean, No. If you saw 4 guys standing that you don't know standing outside your neighbor's house while the house is burning down,
do you not just start shooting?
They're not trying to go in or trying to get water from the well. They're standing there with guns. My first question wouldn't be, did you get everybody out? I mean, it would be like,
or did you not
what the hell
start
are you guys doing
shooting?
here?
At least start shooting as you rode by.
I wouldn't have done that either, but I would have been a little bit more wary than to just ride up unarmed and say, hey, everything okay? Why are you guys standing out here with guns instead of trying to put out the fire? I mean, there were a few things that just didn't sit well with me. And I feel like I'm bringing the stream about it down. I did like the movie. I just have some criticisms of the movie.
Same here. This is the best part about our fellowship is that we can love the movie. I adored it. Mm-hmm. But we have legitimate criticisms about how it was done. Mm-hmm. And things that they could improve on. Mm-hmm. And if anyone listens to these,
well, I think Brahma still is going on. So go ahead and finish, Brahma.
That's the majority of it. I liked the movie. I had criticisms. The story did make sense, but I don't think that they connected the dots that they were trying to connect. And I don't need to be shown, but they don't give you enough to say this is actually what was going on here. They give you that, something happened with the captain and with the husband, right? But they don't give you that's probably the reason there's so much tension in the marriage, that, in the beginning, that's why they're out there. That's why she's miserable and doesn't want to be out there. And that's why he's being such a dick to her at the beginning of the movie, because she even says it at one point, why didn't you tell me about this? So obviously there was something going on, and they keep, giving clues to it, but they don't actually give you enough to say, yep, that's what they were going for. They never connect their dots. They leave all the dots a little bit far too open. I don't need it shown to me directly, I don't need them to tell, but I do need the basic plot points to connect.
Okay. Killer. Awesome.
If chat didn't like what you said, I disagree with everything you just said. If they agree with you, I agree with you.
Okay. Oh my God.
But
I'd say a few connecting of the dots would be for thing for me. Unlike everyone else, I have no problems with the music or lack thereof in this case, so I am very good with that. Actually, I don't have any issues with the dad being gone for most movie. I think once again, it was Gina's movie, so I feel like it was meant to showcase her more, and I get why some people want more of him. Maybe you could have had maybe 5 minutes more to maybe connect another dot or two, sure. But I definitely don't think he needed to be that much more prominent. But I could see where people's complaints come on that.
Can I piggyback real quick before you go off of that one?
Go for it.
I just don't see what the point of showing him win a poker hand is.
Did he win?
Walking around drunk.
Yes,
he walked out and he had a wad of cash.
That's I didn't see that. I thought he lost.
To him is when he had the wad of cash.
Oh,
just don't show him at all in
sense.
town. And he just spent the day in town and came back. I didn't see what the point of having any of that going on was.
The only point
other than to see the wanted poster,
which I still don't get how he makes
see other than seeing the wanted poster was that the horror propositioned him, and he proved he was a good husband.
That is the best. Like, that was my girlfriend's best part. She was like, "Hell yeah, shove that hoe down."
Did he see the wanted poster before or after that?
Right after. I think that's what it was for. I didn't have to, because obviously he saw posters, and that's where he was. I guess you could say he was connecting dots. But so when I guess you could say he smacked that hoe. That's when he's just like, oh,
he said begone thought.
Begone. Yeah, for me, I guess some of the connected the dots, like it wasn't like all over the place connected dots, but there definitely fell short of a few, is what I would say. But overall, though, I was still very entertained by the movie. I did enjoy it, and I will definitely watch it again. And I'm looking forward to watching it. And I did think there was definitely some solid performances, and it definitely benefited from stakes and from some damn good action. I think the action really kicked ass in this movie. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching it. And I feel like that definitely maybe rewatches might help. Maybe connect some dots. Maybe it won't. Maybe I'll just see it as a movie. You just kind of just sit back and enjoy the ride. But yeah, overall though, I enjoyed the flick, so I'm looking forward to watching again, and I hope that Daily Wire can see where some of their few things they maybe fell short on, they can work on, and hopefully in the future we'll be doing more reactions to entertainment like this rather than constantly talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi getting subverted for the 800 millionth time.
I'm so excited for this next one.
Oh man.
I have not watched an episode. I don't want to talk about it. All I'm getting
just nice. The thought of that movie, just the thought of that series makes me want to go commit seppuku. So,
hey, can I ask? I guess Pulp, you're probably going to be the only one that knows this, but the rifle that's being used by the main bad guy or whatever, was that a Shiloh? 1874 kind of a.
It doesn't appear to be. It looked
like it had the double triggers.
It might have been, but that was probably a shotgun.
What?
Most shotguns of the era actually had a double trigger.
No, the sharpshooting rifle that he took at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought sharpshooter rifle.
Yes. Was that a Shiloh like 1874? Similar to what Quigley uses down under.
It shouldn't have been. It didn't look like the frame for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, a variation
I'm not an expert on that era of firearms, but it looked like a normal Winchester.
Yeah, I think.
Oh no, it didn't look like a Winchester at all.
Winchester
wouldn't. It was a Winchester
like
lever action. It was
no, it wasn't a lever action.
It was definitely lever action.
It certainly was not.
Then it was absolutely a break action shotgun.
No, it was not.
Nope. Which
rifle are you talking about?
The last one used in the movie. I'm pretty sure it was a Shiloh.
I didn't notice it then. I may need to go back and watch it again.
Steely, he hasn't seen it. That's why he's here for moral support. That's his role.
Yeah. No, I'm just here for moral support and to make crude comments about Gina on occasion.
We thank you for Sam's. We thank you for your moral support and your Gina support. So it's all good, brother. So yeah.
Are we gonna do a quick out of 10?
I don't think it's fair to rank it, but I mean, I guess if you guys want to roll it, I'm not gonna really roll the score. But Bram, I'll let you go for it.
I would have given it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It was a good movie that kept my attention. Had its issues. That's why it's a C. But I mean, the acting in it wasn't atrocious. I thought Gina did a better job than she's done on some other stuff. She was great in the action scenes. She's great. She's great with the facial expressions. She's just not that great at delivering lines all the time. They're kind of one note. I thought the kid actually did pretty good when I normally hate kids in movies. And I thought the villains were varied and interesting to a degree. I mean, the one guy laughing like a hyena the whole time got a little bit annoying and repetitive, but I mean, I think it was much better than a B movie or a horror flick, and it was a different take on a Western because it wasn't your typical Western. It was like a horror movie. I mean, if I had not seen Shut In from Daily Wire before this, I might have liked it a little bit more, but it was very much like Shut In for the first 45 minutes. It's somebody trapped in a house or a room with people trying to kill her. So that, I mean, but 7.5 out of 10, I would say.
All right, killer. Well, Mags, before I have you have the floor, ask about the wallpaper, please. Is there for the purpose of irony? No alcohol, except you see us all drinking on here. So, Mags, go ahead and give us your final thoughts, whether it's a score or no score.
Nick, they've been asking this all night. It's not the wallpaper on the stream. It is specifically Pope's wallpaper with the rockets above his head.
Hey.
Yes, I was going to say that too, man.
I didn't know.
If you want me to answer that question, I will.
Oh, God.
That's coming from chat.
Yes, you need to appease the chat.
Oh, I did not know. I did not know.
I will answer it honestly. This is the room I grew up in.
Oh, Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
We are moving in a couple of months, so that wallpaper will obviously not be following me. But when I moved back home to Massachusetts, I realized that my state is so high tax and so horrible with standard of living that I cannot afford my own place. So we are now moving to Virginia, where hopefully I will be able to afford my own home on what I would be able to pay for rent anywhere in the state of Massachusetts, because my state fucking sucks and I hate it.
All right. No, there you go, guys. There's your story on the wallpaper. And Pulp Metallica's the versus room. So, all right, Mags, go ahead and give us your thoughts, whether score or no score included. Just give us your final thoughts.
I'm kind of on the same page as Brahma Bull, 7.5, maybe probably more close to an 8 for me, because I felt very drawn into the movie itself. I did see a lot of imagery that pertained to certain themes in the film. And I thought the cinematography itself was absolutely spot on, 100%. It was definitely its own character in its own way. But like everyone said, there are some flaws, there are some things in here for improvement, but that's the thing. If they can improve upon this film going forward and keep improving going forward, then they are on the right track. And I feel like they are trying to push limits, which is good. They are trying in a way to push certain types of risks. So, and that's the good thing. We need that. We need to do that. And I know, what is it? Shut-In it's kind of like you made a mention of the fact that it's like, oh, it's a woman trapped inside her house again. I'm like, oh gosh, it's the Tatooine situation where we're back on sand. At the same time, maybe they're trying to do different avenues and different situations with it, but at the same time, it is a step moving in the right direction. So at least in my opinion, it seems to be that case. Yeah,
I think that was just happenstance. I think so. Those are the scripts. They just happen to be similar in completely different settings. Both movies kind of reminded me of the same thing. So
it just happened. Yeah, it just happened that way. But I overall enjoyed it. Honestly, I feel that there is rewatchability with it, and that might be subjective to each individual. But for me, especially now this day and age, rewatchability needs to be a criteria of criticizing a movie, and for me, I can rewatch this again. So anyway, I'm done.
No, well said, Max. Thank you, appreciate it. All right, Mad, go ahead and go through your final thoughts. Maybe what you would like to see going forward, or overall. I'm gonna give it
probably 7.5 handies out of 10. The hands were everywhere and they were used correctly.
Oh gosh.
No, I thought overall it was a good movie. It wasn't perfect by any means, but oh boy, after watching Jurassic World, this thing was
masterpiece.
Yeah, it was Rear Window. I know everybody goes for Citizens Kane, but I do something a little different.
I personally like Rear Window, so
yeah, it's great, right?
It's a great movie.
Did you see the remake Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Holds up. Oh, yeah. Holds up. Watched it the other day. I've seen it multiple times. Yeah.
That didn't come out right, Matt.
What didn't come out?
It came out exactly
multiple times.
Oh yeah. Multiple times. Don't care for the chick. Love the dudes in it though. They were real bros. They could have solved that mystery in like half the time if it wasn't for her and her dumb feelings. Anyways.
I'm bad.
That's right. That was it for me, man.
All right.
Okay. Pulp, go ahead and sign off with your thoughts, and then we'll start all plugging in channels.
Well, I mean, I like this movie a lot. I mean, this is the classic Western. I do feel like the male lead didn't have enough build up before he just went off. Like, you didn't learn enough about him, but that's also a Western trope. Is that one of the heroes you never know enough about? I mean, look at the Dollars trilogy. You never learn Clint Eastwood's name.
But that's also done on purpose too.
Well, yeah. But at the same time, that builds tension. Throughout the entire trilogy, you never know his name. And you never find it out either. It's not like you build it up to a payoff either. You just never know who he is. And you never need to know. Which I appreciate.
That film series was also based off of the Akira Kurosawa Seven Samurai movies.
Oh no, I mean that's absolutely true. But the Seven Samurai movie, like all of Kurosawa stuff, was also based off of older westerns that had been done in the 20s and 30s. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Kurosawa stuff. I love Kurosawa's samurai movies. But that's also the Western trope, is the main character doesn't talk very much. And this is a different kind of Western where the main character in the movie, being Gina Carano, actually is the center of attention to a certain point. Where her location is the center of action. If you guys know what I mean by that. But
mostly.
Where she's doing things is the center of where everything's happening.
Oh yeah, no, of course I follow.
So that's an 8 from you.
And I like that. I do like that in that one of the main characters.
You okay, Paul? You okay? You've been
fine.
Okay. All right. Never mind. Go for it.
What are you guys talking about? I do like that in that you are tied to one physical location for most of the movie. And most of the action is what's going on there. But the husband, and I do like the fact that the husband has absolutely no fucking idea what's going on there. But I do feel like you could have cut down a couple of scenes, especially with them trying to negotiate. Because anyone with any lick of common sense knows that the second you open that door, they're just going to kill you all. Because not only do they want what they want no witnesses. That's just how shit used to work out on the frontier. So I love the tension in this movie of whether or not she's going to be dumb enough to open the door, or whether or not she's going to be, or whether or not she's going to actually give in. And she never does. And that's the best part of this movie, is that she holds her fucking ground. She does what she can with the tools she has on hand. And she wins through in the end, mostly.
That's it, yeah. I agree with mostly. All right. Do you want to rate it or score it?
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
All right.
Called it.
I called it 8 out of 10. All right. Well, know it. Well, he's here and he's chatting. Pulp, what do you got coming out this week for your channel?
All right. Well, this week I have another episode of Rock and Roll Collision coming out. If you guys don't know, I do a mostly weekly episode, although that may change with the move. On bands and albums I think are specifically worthy of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we are going to be doing Sodom.
Nice.
And Paris is going to be joining us. I think Sergeant Herbs is going to be joining us as well. And obviously, Nick, I know you're a huge Sodom fan. If you're available, you are welcome to join us as well.
Okay.
And anyone else is as well.
Of course. Well, I'm probably super slammed, but if I somehow am not, even for a sliver of a moment, I'll be glad to drop by.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
All right.
And for the rest of you, I have a Gilded page that you're welcome to join. If anyone has the link to that.
You can post it in the private chat. We'll post it.
Yeah. If not, well, then subscribe to the
to YouTube.
Subscribe to the YouTube page, and we'll see you on the next one, I guess.
All right. Mr. Sam. Oh, sorry, Sam.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here for moral support and, well, of course, for Gina. So I know obviously you have a channel as well, and you're going to be on Toxic Tuesday with me next week. So go ahead and tell us about what you got coming up this week, though.
Yeah, well, I screwed up the date last week. I thought it was last week, but I'll be on Toxic Tuesday last week. This week I've got a guest coming up, a guy by the name of Milker Nation who critiques some of the internet drama stuff. So if any of you guys are interested in that, that's what I'll be doing. Other than that, I do a Thursday podcast where I mostly like to rip Biden a new asshole every week.
Why?
So, because he's got fucking dementia and that. Oh, and I haven't announced this even on my show yet, but come July 1st, I will be doing a review podcast of all 8 episodes of The Terminal List. Mm-hmm. So if any of you guys are into military thrillers or anything like that, I'm actually looking for co-hosts for that. So if any of you are going to be watching that series with Chris Pratt, I will be reviewing each episode of that on a podcast. So
nice.
Thanks for having me, Nick, and pleasure to be here again. So.
Pleasure, man. Good to be reconnecting. I will see you next week for Rocky 4, all right? And guys, this is Sam's channel right here at the link that I posted. So by all means, sub to his channel. You'll see him Saturday. You'll see him next week on Toxic Tuesday. And this is Pulp Metallicus. The first is Gilded as well.
Shout out to Apex Gamma, by the way, aka Condition Chicken in chat. He is my co-host. So.
Nice. All right.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, piece the dots together. All right, dude. Sam, I'll see you soon, my friend.
Let's see. Thursday, I'm helping a little channel out, trying to get them, some growth. So this guy, Comics Division, I'm gonna have him over. I'm gonna host his job, his show. Try to give him a little boost there. That mad barber boost. I guess recorded the audio. I'm still working. I got to work on the visuals now on a new video explaining why Jurassic World Dominion is the best of all the Jurassic Park movies. Although wait and find out why that is.
I'm still waiting for that boost, by the way, on my channel.
Anyway, so yeah, that's it. You can just start mine links.
All right, guys. Mad Barber Entertainment right here. Matt, it was a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
until we cross paths again, sir. New Bomb Turk, I will see you in Vegas, man. Let us fucking rage. And Mags.
Hey y'all. I will be on tomorrow night talking with Pops Culture with Brandon the Anime Guy and Pacific 414 tomorrow night to talk about some pop culture news and stories, talking about the Orville and what have you. And of course, I'm going to drop the link to that actual YouTube link in the private chat too. So we'll be getting together and talking about some of that information, and there'll be other things that we'll be talking about, of course. And I'm gonna try to plan on doing a. What is going on?
Sorry, it's Randy.
Randy.
I'm just a wee
goddamn hand. Randy again.
I'm just a wee hand.
Just don't go wee wee. I see you, awesome one. I don't defend that kind of women. But anyway, so I'm thinking about doing a review stream tomorrow night on Terror on the Prairie, but that's tentative because I'm a little busy at work, and it's just too much trying to compensate both YouTube and multiple streams at once and working. So that's tentative at this time. But as of right now, I don't have anything coming up at the moment. I am working on something in the background, so hopefully I can get that out.
Killer. Awesome, Max.
Real quick. I never thought about how hard it would be for Randy to go wee wee. Like when she said it, I started because he only has one functionable hand. For him to undo his zipper and then the button, he has to wear the snaps, right?
It's a hard life
or Velcro.
Randy.
I mean, maybe
Velcro.
maybe he's older. Maybe he's older.
I don't know if Velcro scratches.
Oh,
well, you would have underwear on, bro.
Yeah, well, you still stick it out through the whole.
I mean, some people go commando. Yeah. You just never know.
Well, Mags, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. All right.
Thank you for having me, Nick. I appreciate it.
Pleasure's all mine. And guys, this is Mags Channel Subplot here, and she'll be hanging out over here as well for streaming. So get on that. Set your reminders now. And then second to last, now, but not least, the man, the whiskey drinker. And you will also find him in Dallas representing the longest and the hardest and the strongest of the Dix division, Brahma Bull.
Yep, I'm leaving in 8 hours. Got to drive 12 hours tomorrow to get there. Trying to get there in time to watch the first game of the Stanley Cup Finals with the Avalanche. Mm-hmm. So,
go Avs, Cardinado.
Exactly. Go Avs. So, yeah, I won't be on anything else this week unless I manage to come in the back door on Thursday Night Throwdown from Dallas with maybe comics and culture and George if we're allowed to stream from the meetup.
Come in the back door.
Yeah. So that's what I got going on. You can catch me on Yelling at Parked Cars. You can catch me on Thursday Night Throwdown usually. And Matt, am I allowed to say anything?
What? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm about the Wednesday Sporking or Wednesday Mad Dump now.
Yeah, Wednesday Mad Dump.
I'm going to be an alternate on there every now and then. So you can catch me on there every now and then. So make sure you're watching.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, I thought I'm texting Tox and yelling at him why am I the last one to know it was on my channel?
I need 9 subs to get to 150. Man, so if anybody here isn't,
if it helps, Tox gave me 16 hours notice that I wasn't gonna have an episode with him. So
it happens. It's okay.
Well, I need 9 subs to get to 150.
This is Brahma Bull channel. If you're not subbed to him, he's 9 subs. Slide into his channel and click sub. So that way, when he's at 150, we could say he's 100 away from 250. And then we're going to take back the White House. Yeah! So, Brahma Bull, thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you. It was fun.
To you. And I look forward to hearing all about the greatness of Dallas.
Yep,
Oh gosh, you gotta highlight Shellback. Shellback's
Shellback
comic.
says, we one-handed all the time. It's not difficult when you're
No, God, turtles! I can't believe you don't wear pants, so you don't get it. But he's gonna have to unzip his pants. Have you ever unzipped and unbuttoned your pants with one hand?
Yes, he has. He's a sailor. He's an expert with this.
Yes.
But he doesn't wear pants.
Anyways, this is my Gilded guys. I know a lot of you are on there, but some of you have not signed up. Go to this link. It's like Discord, but way cooler and better. And we also have video chats on there, which is cool. We actually had a little watch along via chatting and basically texting over Terror on the Prairie earlier. It was really killer. And we have video chats for yelling at park cars before the show starts every Monday night. And it's fun. So we have all the fun topics there. And Friday Night Comic Shop Talk is this Friday night. And I have a few comic book videos on the way as well. And, of course, I yell at park cars on Monday night with Comics Division and the Dicks Division. And I'm on Midnight's Edge after dark. So those are the things I'm a part of. And to the chat, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to us. I appreciate it. And thank you for being here, whether it's for a little bit, half the time, all the time, majority of the time, whatever. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. And to Mr. Brian Yoder for your direct donation, sir. And to everyone, you all have a good magical evening. Go watch Terror on the Prairie. Hail Gina Carano. You all have a magical evening. This is goodbye, good fight, and most importantly, good
night.